The Prince of Lost Causes and Other Adventures. August 31, 2014. At home, I am a princess or its equivalent. Here, at least for the last 2,000 years, most of my prominent lifetimes have been as a male. Why? Simply because society was dominated by men, powerful men. Ever wonder why the English crowned the oldest male in line for the throne of the United Kingdom, the Prince of Wales? Because of the last real Prince of Wales, Prince Llewellyn, who very nearly succeeded in uniting the contentious tribes and princely states of the tiny land called Wales. He was acknowledged as prince by Henry III, but cast down by his son and successor, the young warrior king, Edward I, known to history as the Hammer of the Scots. Like the Romans before them, the new conquerors of Albion wanted it all. They wanted to rule from the white cliffs of Dover to the great granite heights of Scotland. They wanted tiny Wales under their feet, and they got it, but at a high cost. Early this morning, I woke up to the internal pressure of my relatives figuratively sitting on my chest. They're angelic, so they don't weigh anything, but they wanted to impress something on me, the knowledge of some of my past lives. What's more, they wanted my readers to know these things. The year 1171 came to mind first. It was the year that Llewellyn ap Iorwerth was conceived in his mother's womb. He was born in 1172. During a tumultuous lifetime, he became the de facto ruler of Wales and a thorn in the side of the English king, John Lackland, as well as his son and successor, Henry III. I read about Llewellyn in a novel. After my little adventure on the side of Snowdon, in the midst of the ancient kingdom of Gwynedd, I had been drawn to learn more about that tiny country. It was a wild land of mountains and forests. Its people were silver-tongued, gifted with music and poetry. They lived in small farms and sheltered wooden forts. There were few castles in Wales. The people scattered into the forests and heights when danger came, and it did. Llewellyn was a fighter. By the time he was 14 and considered an adult, he had killed his first man. He had to fight to survive, but he also had a dream, to unite the disparate realms of Powys, Gwynedd, and the disputed borderlands between England and Wales in the east. This link offers a clearer picture of the difficult life of Wales' greatest prince. N.Wikipedia.org web link. Prince Llewellyn died, killed during a short-lived engagement with the English. His legacy and dream of a united Wales led his grandson, another Llewellyn, to establish his own realm. This Llewellyn was acknowledged by Henry III as the Prince of Wales, but overthrown later by the king's son and successor, Edward I. It was to quash these continuous attempts at Welsh independence that caused Edward I to spend so much time and money building castles in tiny Wales. The warrior king was determined to put Wales in its place, as a state subservient to the might of England. The memories of the Welsh people are long, and their history under the thumb of English difficult. The treachery done at the instigation of the English kings still rankles. These lifetimes seem to have come during pivotal moments in history. Of course, when you're in the light worlds, you can leisurely study history and put yourself anywhere within its flow. And you can send various aspects of self into play various roles, leading and as bit players. The next lifetime that came to mind was Richard III, King of England, accused murderer of 2 sons of his brother, Edward. Ironic, isn't it, that the bones of that misunderstood war leader were finally unearthed during my lifetime? I can't answer the inevitable question about the fate of the boys, as I remember little of that particular lifetime. Edward had usurped a throne from his cousin. Richard apparently usurped a throne from the eldest son of his brother. The nation was in the midst of the Wars of the Roses. One could not be a child and rule the lands torn by a civil war. And like Llewellyn, Richard found his death at the hands of treacherous knights led by the son of Owain ap Tudor, Henry Tudor, the man who would be king. Ironic, isn't it, that the scion of the bastard Tudor line would become ruler? A tender lifetime came as a woman, Clare, the one who would act as female disciple of the young man who would later be known as Saint Francis. A pretty version of their shared vision can be seen in the movie, brother sun, sister moon. More can be found here. N.Wikipedia.org web link. There are numerous books written about Francesco. His lifetime was one of those rare ones when a lighted one was lauded by the established order, or at least the reigning pope. Recognized by the highest authority in the land, Francesco was not threatened by the church leaders during his lifetime. Claire, a daughter of wealthy merchants from the same city, Assisi, was attracted to the simplicity and devotion of Francesco's order. A corresponding order for women was eventually organized, the Order of Saint Clare, at least that is what it is called now. Francesco and Clare were devoted to living as the words of Jesus directed. They gave up the wealth and power of their merchant kin, and devoted their lives to love, spiritual love. Today, Francesco is considered the patron saint of animals and ecology. And he was a walk-in aspect of my cousin, now known as Lord Ranandakumara. The walk-in occurred when Francesco lay near dying, suffering from a desperate illness and thought to be near death by his worried parents. When he awoke from his sick bed, he was another person. There were other lifetimes that were impressed upon me, but right now I cannot remember them. I asked why they were directing me to write about these things, when I would rather not. And the answer came, you are an avatar and we wish the people to know these things. Right. Yes, I knew that, like the bodhisattva thing, but one cannot become too hung up on this sort of thing, or something called spiritual pride comes creeping in. I like to stay grounded and real. Still, when one is the daughter of an archangel and a goddess, I guess it's inevitable that my family would want my true worth known. Yes, I am aware that there will be those who dispute my claims. There always are, in matters such as these. I really do not care for titles and assignments of glory. Most of my prominent lives ended in tragic circumstances, death at the hands of traitors or jealous lords and so on. It hasn't been easy being an avatar on this darkened, benighted planet. Why would anyone seriously consider being one then? Out of love and devotion of a kind that rarely exists on this world, my friends. Few of you understand the commitment that it has taken to endure such handling as I and my kin have received at the hands of the sons of Belial and their minions. I will write more as I remember. For some reason, my star family deemed these things to be important, given that I will be ascending soon, for the last time from this world. Yes, for the last time, my dear ones. For as we descended from 6D to 5D, and re-entered the cycle of incarnation, so were we responsible for reascending at the end of many lifetimes, again and again. And here you are, worried about ascending one time. In truth, many of my readers have ascended more than once, or you would not be attracted to these pages or resonate like struck bells with these words. Did you think that we would abandon you, dear ones? The bells of heaven have been struck. The time of gathering in for the way showers of the first wave has begun. Someone had to go before you to greet you in the dawning awareness of your ascension. Waves of ascension will begin on December 21st of this year, 2014. Succeeding waves will follow, extending out to a couple of years, 2015 to 2016, as the thousands of volunteer way showers of first wavers are gathered to the bosom of their respective star families and rewarded for their efforts during the last several thousand years. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Of course, not all volunteer light bearers will be ascending. Many waves of volunteers have incarnated or walked in to perform their missions in bringing the planet firmly into the fifth-dimensional frequencies, as well as assisting in waking up those within humanity who are destined to live upon the new earth. Not all are, as I am sure you are becoming aware. Many will leave this planet and pursue their lessons on other suitable worlds. So, those who are from the second and succeeding waves of volunteers will linger a while longer upon these shores until the planet and all life upon her are raised up into the more refined frequencies of the fifth dimension. My cousin, Ranandakumara, was recently made a lord for all his efforts in assisting the evolutionary process of Earth. In receiving these accolades, he graduated from being a 6D light being to 7D. He is now officially a Lord of Light and a very humble fellow. Being a lord simply means that you are regarded as an honored teacher. It gives you no authority over the lives of others. Still, it is something to look forward to when you ascend, whenever that might be. Given that I am sharing these things and making them more public, please do not ask me to give you answers to all the questions that inevitably arise, as I will not comply. Questions usually come from the lower mind, which seeks to categorize, delineate, and place knowledge into little boxes for further study like dead bugs. Wisdom is not a sterile or constant state. It flows with your willingness to trust in your own process. As you let go of the need to question, the answers will come, in their own time, much to the chagrin of those who see themselves as being impatient. Ask yourself, what would knowing the answers do for you? I now know many answers to questions I didn't even know I had, some of which took 20 years to fully confirm. I would not be sharing these things now had it not been for the fact that I've shared so much already. There comes a point when it is best to be fully transparent. This state of openness will come to you all, eventually, if you are willing to open up and release all those hidden secrets to which some of you so tightly cling. If you think I am seeking fame, think again. I have never charged anyone for reading the material that I have published. I give it to the world, as a gift, as an energetic path that can be used as markers for your own path. I do not seek to be your teacher, guru, or spiritual leader. I would just as well be left alone to meditate and commune with my star family, yet they are pressuring me to share these things, and so, I do. I may not have been capable of obeying worldly teachers, but I do follow the instructions and promptings of my spiritual mentors and family. And I do so out of love for them, and for you, my dear ones. Embrace the fullness of your divinity. Understand that all life is sacred. Life includes all living creatures and those things that do not appear to be living in terms understood by modern man. The ancient ones knew the magic of life that streams through the earth, air, and water, through the waves and winds, through the mountains, valleys, lakes and streams. The ancients didn't worship trees. They revered the ancient wisdom of the beings who appeared as trees, grounding the energies of heaven deep into the earth through their roots. They honored the food provided by grass, trees, shrubs, and forbs. They honored the spirits that animated the living creatures who graced the land. They honored the power that gave life to new beings, through the act of creation, carried within the womb of the mother and delivered in pain. Learn to honor these things, again, dear ones. For in doing so, you honor yourselves, for you are part of the great tapestry of life that is woven through the means of love and light, the gifts of the Mother and of the Father of us all. By the way, in case anyone is curious if I feel anything about the lives that I have shared today, and I will say, no. They were merely lives spent here working. Even the life as Claire was more difficult than it is given out to be by the myth makers of the church. There was no such thing as romance and grandeur in such tales for the ones who endured these lives. Ask Chief Joseph and he will tell you that it was the flame of freedom buried deep in his heart and the hearts of his people that enabled them to do the impossible. And so it is. And for those who do not know, freedom's flame is also known as the violet flame. It burns in the heart of all my people. Namaste. I am Tasjima Maria Kumara Vakup, daughter of the Pleiades and the planet, Venus. P.S. If none of these things happen, then you can chalk it up as my having a rather vivid imagination. If it helps, think of it as a good story. And then ponder my words and the many others written during these last 2 years. Your story is written there, too, but it is up to you to decipher its meaning for you. Elizabeth Ayres Escher. www.bluedragonjournal.com